Hey. Who's babysitting who?
What's up, Adam? How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good.
You remember Kevin, right?
No. Oh, nice. No more. No, you just have one. You can't, because mom's gonna get mad at me. Comes home. She's gonna tell me that I gave you ice cream. More. No, we can't. You can't have any more.
I want the Mickey Mouse pop.
You just had a no. We don't have a Mickey Mouse pops. What you want? What?
You want?
What?
I want veggie fries.
Betty fries? Want French fries?
No, veggie fries.
Veggie fries.
Veggie fries. Oh, okay, yeah. I told you, bro. This is how it's gonna be the whole podcast.
Well, you didn't say specifically that. You said I'm watching my daughter. You didn't say she'd be watching us.
I gave her the iPad, and then she wants me to do the things for her, the pop the fucking.
Okay,
the pop.
it's all right, man. I ain't mad at you. So, it's all right.
I didn't. This is what, I mean, I honestly think that we should reschedule this for real.
Your wife went to the doctor at 7:00 at night. Are you sure she's not cheating on you?
Yeah, this definitely makes me want to do this podcast. Okay, so.
Anyway, man, it's good to see you. Yeah, his wife was probably really there. He's like, what? You want veggies? What kid asked for veggie sticks? That was his wife.
They want veggie fries.
It was veggie fries.
That sounds like something I would eat.
But you know what's weird though? I mean, with all the kids I work with, you'd be surprised. Kids are like into eating vegetables now. It's really weird.
Yeah, dude. Because
they love it. Oh, can I have some broccoli? I was like, wait, what?
Because you talk to kids in LA.
Broccoli. What's that?
Because you talk to kids in LA.
Yeah, no.
Bunch of faggots.
I do not condone that word.
Take your seats. School is now in session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Welcome back to Homeschooled Podcast. I'm Agostino Zoida. I'm the host of the Homeschool Podcast, and I'm here with the co-host, Kevin Lyons. It's great to have you here. We were going to have on Adam Hunter, who was here for about 3 seconds, and then he was watching his daughter, so he literally couldn't talk to us, so we just have to reschedule it. But we'll have the podcast nonetheless. But before we get into it, this episode is brought to you by Kevin Lyons. Just kidding. This episode is brought to you by Masterclass. Masterclass is, to be honest with you, don't tell the other ones, my favorite sponsor that we have on here. Not because it's the easiest sell, because it's awesome and people love it and I make the most money off them, but because Masterclass they're just awesome, dude. I love the fact that it's something that you can educate yourself on, which is what we're all about here at Homeschool Podcast, which is following your dreams, documenting your journey and just getting better at what you wanted to do and finding a way to do it when there's all obstacles against you and you don't know where to begin and you don't know how to do the thing that you want to look into. That's why I love Masterclass, because you can take a class on just about anything in the comfort of your own home, on your own schedule, and on your own budget. One of the reasons not to take a class in something or to better yourself or to move further along in your craft is that you don't have time or you don't have money. These are big ones, especially for parents, especially for people with full-time jobs. So Masterclass is amazing because it's so affordable. I mean, you can choose the class that you want to take and you just buy that one, or it seems to make a lot more sense to me to pay for the entire year of the entire Masterclass website. So if you want to take more than one class, it makes way more sense just to pay for the whole year, and there's several ones that you can take on there. And you can click the link in the description and sign up right now. And don't waste any more time. It's time to start doing it, you guys. Also, this episode is brought to you by Kevin's weird face while I read ads. Just daydreaming over there. This episode is also brought to you by Puffy Mattress. Puffy Mattress is America's voted number one. It's number one, you guys. We did it. Puffy Mattress is the best memory foam mattress that gets delivered to your door. And right now they're having the sale of the year. Their fall sale is unbelievable, you guys. You're going to get hooked up. On top of it being their sale, I'm also going to get you $300 off your mattress, okay? So click the link in the description. Make sure you use that link and you'll get $300 off plus a king-size puffy pillow, which is like a 3-foot long like memory foam pillow, which is awesome. My wife calls it my silly pillow. I think she's just jealous of us because we'd be cuddling up in the corner. But that thing is awesome. You guys click the link in the description. $300 off during their huge sale, which ends, I believe, at the end of this month. And what else, Kevin? And get the King Puffy pillow. Don't forget, guys, I'll be in Philadelphia on November 12th through the 14th. Okay? And you can go to get tickets on my website, homeschooledpod.com. Click on tour. And you can also download my comedy album when you click on merch. The links are all there to download my comedy album and leave it 5 stars reviews, please. And while you're there on merch, you can pick up a t-shirt. We have some awesome t-shirts. I'm wearing my hoodie today. You see that, Kev? My homeschool podcast, Document the Journey. There's a bigger version on the back. But that's it, you guys. Let's get into it. So, Kevin.
Yes.
Halloween is here. It's just a couple days away. And I know it's your favorite time of year.
Yes.
But did you hear that?
Did I hear what?
Never mind. I know it's your favorite time of year, and as an adult, it's still your favorite because you like, you're a big horror movie fan. You love the horror movies. I think you told me that you're going to go walk around in the daytime on Halloween where they film some of your favorite horror films, right?
Yeah, over in Pasadena. You know the spots.
I do know the spots. So, as an adult, I love that you still find a way to enjoy Halloween and entertain yourself because a lot of people might say it is a kid's holiday, but listen, it's your favorite, and my favorite's Christmas, but you could also say it's for kids, but I love it. I'm a traditional guy. I like the lights. I like the holidays. Even for Halloween, I like the fall. I like walking around looking at all the decorations and stuff like that.
That's why I like it, though, is because, Christmas used to be my favorite for years. And then, I've always loved Halloween and horror movies, but then, it's all been going by so fast. So Halloween is usually the first big holiday, and that's why I love it, because it's the start of it all.
It is.
And I know it's going to go by fast. So that's why Halloween is really essentially my favorite. And I do like the weather change and
it's just great, dude. But it's kind of sad this year that, a lot of people aren't going to be participating in it. Some people are, everybody's still afraid of the vid. You got people that are saying they're not going to let their kids go trick-or-treating, or you got people saying that they're not even going to turn their lights off. They're not going to open their door. And I think it's important for you to be creative and find a way to do things, not just for Halloween, but for Thanksgiving, for the upcoming holidays, for Christmas, for New Year's. Maybe it's not going to be the same thing that you always do, but there's still, the depression is really tough on a lot of people right now. You know what I mean? And if you were a person who loves the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, if you're the person that really enjoys this season, then this is going to be an extra toll on your depression that you were already having. And yes, you can't 100% go back to what we had last year or what your normal traditions are, but everybody's got to make sacrifices. But what bothers me the most is people that are just going, we're doing nothing. Fine, that's your choice. If you really, maybe they don't like it as much as us. You know what I mean? But when you have kids or when you have traditions, I just don't like people going, we're doing nothing, as opposed to let me use my brain and think, how can we still do something fun and comply with safety, or how can we still do something, a new tradition, or work around it or something like that. It just, nothing makes me more upset than when people don't get creative and they just say like no. You know what I mean? It just infuriates me.
Yeah, I can see that, but I mean, people want to do them. If they don't want to do anything, they don't want to do anything. But if you're saying, hold on, if you're saying that they're not doing anything specifically because of COVID, then yeah, I mean, like, well, you can figure out something, but I'm not gonna. I mean, it's been a tough year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be hard on anybody for not wanting to go all out this year, but I think all this stuff shouldn't die out. I agree with you on that aspect. I mean, like, you know me, I'm going to be fucking going, I'm going to go to all my favorite locations on Halloween, and I'm going to be socially distanced, but it's not going to, that shit has not stopped me from leaving my house. That's for sure. It hasn't stopped me.
It hasn't stopped me either, dude. And I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not saying throw a giant basher, and invite tons of people and do the usual, chicks dress up like whores. I mean, who doesn't love that? But I'm not saying like go and do that and do the usual. But like, I just remember. Well, first of all, some people, they got kids that maybe this is the last year your kids are even going to be interested in trick or treating. There's always like the next year your kid's at that age and he's just like, that's for babies. There's like a fine line. So, you're kind of giving away your kid's childhood a little bit if you go like, we're not going trick-or-treating this year. I also don't really like how people instill this fear in their child. Whatever happened to like adults consuming bad news, whether it be from the news, media, or, their daily life challenges, and then they didn't tell their kids because they didn't want their kids to worry. You know what I mean? Like, if your dad lost his job, your mom and dad wouldn't really talk to the kids about it. They didn't want the kids to worry. They just keep it a secret. For some reason, people are taking their fears and they are instilling it in their children. Like, you're not going to go trick or treating. It's just like, you're going to stay in, like, you're instilling this overreacted fear, by the way, if you want to get my opinion on it. Obviously, if you listen to this podcast, I think that this whole thing has been blown completely out of proportion. But a lot of people will disagree with me, and you want to just be safe, but fine, be safe. But that doesn't mean you have to stop your life, and it doesn't mean that you can't work around it. I'll tell you that when I was young, like really, really young, I only have a couple of memories of going trick-or-treating, like very, very few, when I was really, really young. And then there was a long period where we didn't go at all. And I think I may have told you this story once, where I think that my dad was kind of using an excuse because he didn't want to have to take us trick-or-treating. I think that, remember I told you that? It's kind of funny actually, but my parents are very religious. My dad is very religious, and at one point he kind of believed, or he convinced us that Halloween was evil, like it was like worshiping the devil or something like that. He didn't like the, he didn't like some of the traditions, and he just said like, oh, it's an evil holiday, we don't celebrate it. So for like years we didn't celebrate Halloween. He wouldn't take us trick-or-treating, and then not until I became an older teenager and I had teenager friends where I wasn't even really interested in trick-or-treating anymore, but I still went out with them just to walk around the neighborhood and stuff like that. But there's a period that you're kind of taking away from your children, like there's a period that kids have where they're excited about trick-or-treating, they're excited about these traditions, they're harmless, and what if this is the last year? I'm not saying go balls out and don't talk to your kids about safety and being extra cautious and stuff like that, but I just can't stand when people don't use their brain to get creative around it.
Well, I mean, I can see not getting, being upset about them not being creative, if it was any other year, but dude, they people have been using so much creativity right now to deal with what's been happening anyway. Yeah. I mean, I get it. They want to take the stuff off. But for me, I mean, it's not just around the holidays. I think that there is a really big problem with how this is going to affect kids, just the way that we've been living the last year. That's going to affect child development. I know because I work in that field.
Absolutely, dude.
And I see it, and I collect data on it, and I see how kids are regressing, and it's not good. It's not good for them mentally. But for the holidays, I mean, I did hear some stuff that like they're recommending families not to get together for Thanksgiving, which I think is ridiculous. Like, you can't tell people to not do that. I mean,
they're recommending.
They're recommending. Who gives a shit?
Do you see?
Like, that's ridiculous. But as I'm getting older, I've realized, hey man, if it's like a crazy holiday and you just want to do nothing, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But if you're doing nothing because
that's your choice. Yeah. It's like, guys, stop letting this fear take over your life. You know, Thanksgiving is like the fat holiday. That's when your cholesterol is the highest. You know what I mean? It's when you overeat. You know what I mean? Most people, they overeat on Thanksgiving, and you eat the most unhealthy things. You eat turkey, which, I mean, I don't eat meat for the reasons that it's just extremely unhealthy for you, but you eat turkey that they inject with tryptophan, which makes you extremely sleepy afterward. You know what I mean? You're sitting there eating tons of mashed potatoes and pies and cranberry sauce and stuffing, which is bread baked inside of a dead animal, and they've never once been like, guys, we recommend you don't overdo it this year. Like, I've never seen the CDC or a health specialist come on the news on Thanksgiving and be like, maybe just, you know, have a salad and take only a couple pieces of turkey. It's really unhealthy for you Americans. No one's ever come out and said that. So don't act like you give a shit about our health all of a sudden. This whole thing is just fear mongering, you know. And I saw a really funny meme that said, Thanksgiving, we are allowed to have 6 people total. And then it said, funerals, we are allowed to have 30 people total. And it said, so come on over. I'm having a funeral for my dead turkey.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's pretty funny.
I mean, it blows my mind that they're putting these restrictions for safety, but nobody is promoting good, healthy living. Nobody's promoting putting good things in our bodies. Nobody's promoting how to properly build your immune system. I mean, like, if anything, this is the perfect opportunity to do that. You know, especially whenever it becomes like flu season, everybody's always like, "Oh, make sure you stack up on vitamin C. Make sure you stack up on vitamin C." But now that, you know, they're not talking about extra precautions you can do just to build your own immune system.
Yes,
which is like, hey, listen, if there's a pandemic, maybe you shouldn't just be wear masks. Maybe you guys should
build your immune system.
Build your immune system. Do go outside. You do need vitamin D from the sun. Like, you need that. Yes. Go outside for a little bit and just keep yourself socially distanced. Like, it's ridiculous, and it just tells me that, I mean, it's all a big lie. Not that the virus is a lie. It's just, this is all about the election. I don't care what side you're on. If you're telling me that this isn't about the election, I don't believe you.
I agree with you, dude. I agree with you. I'm not saying the virus doesn't exist. I'm saying it is become political. It's been used as fear to lock down the country and destroy people's businesses for absolutely no merit. You know, there's no merit behind it. Well, 210,000 people died. Listen, guys, a lot more people than that die every year. A flu, different type of viruses. You never heard about it. You know, the one that I hear a lot is, oh, so you don't care about my grandmother? Or, you know, but the fact is that it's got a 99% survival rate. Unless you're like an extremely old person or have pre-existing conditions or have a really weak immune system like a lot of older people do, you know, then maybe it's like a 97% survival rate. Which, like, you know, people are, oh, so you don't care about old people? You don't care about my grandmother? It's like, dude, that's not what I'm saying. But, you know, a flu or a cold could take out a 95-year-old woman. And, you know what I mean? If you ever have the sniffles, you shouldn't go over and see your grandmother. You know, that's just common sense. I knew that. I had a great-grandmother. Most people don't have a great-grandmother. I had a great-grandmother only until, like, maybe 2 years ago. And, you know, we knew, like, don't go over there because she was fragile, right? This is just common sense. And here's like my new response to people that go, you don't care about my grandmother? It's like, dude, I'm sorry if you lost your grandmother, but here's my response to that. My grandmother has Alzheimer's. That is 100% a true story about me, okay? My grandmother currently, right now, has Alzheimer's, and I haven't seen her since the beginning of the pandemic, which was 8-9 months ago. And now she doesn't remember who I am. Do you understand that? Like, we're all going through shit. So my grandmother died of COVID. Well, because of COVID, I can't go over and see my grandmother because God forbid she gets sick. I'm going to feel terrible by the fear that you've instilled in me. And my grandmother just has no clue who I am. I used to go see her like every couple of weeks and remind her who I was, and we would talk, and she would just, you know what I mean? And now when I call her, she doesn't even know who am I. You know what I mean? It's like, this sucks for everybody, you guys, but it's destroyed people's lives. And I think you can't, there's certain things we can't let it fuck with us on. You know how they say, like, America doesn't negotiate with terrorists? Mm-hmm. I think that this, in some ways, is a terrorist. This virus. If it's a horrible thing, like as bad as you guys say that it is, it's from a foreign country and it's that deadly, then let's treat it like a terrorist. I don't negotiate with terrorists, bro. And I'll be safe to a certain extent. You told us 3 months to wear a mask, and then it's now 9 months.
Not even. It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks,
dude. Yeah, it's just been prolonged and prolonged. Just wear it for a little while. You're gonna save tons of lives. It's all been horseshit, dude. And I'm not gonna, certain things I'm not gonna negotiate with the terrorists, so to speak. I'm not going to let the virus win. You know what I mean? Like, if the virus kills me, and I was doing stuff, living my life, I still won. But if you, like, I beat the virus, I didn't get it at all, ever. It's like, but you didn't do anything. You let the virus win. You let it do what it was supposed to do.
If there's a small percentage of people who are in danger of this disease, along with the flu and other things, well, then you separate them from everybody. You don't separate everybody from everybody. You take the people who are at risk and you protect them. You don't stop everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, if it's right when the virus happened, okay, yeah, slow the spread. Everybody, I understand the lockdown at first because nobody knew what this was. This is a virus. But now, like, with all the information that's been coming out, and like, especially, dude, we're coming up on, I mean, more than 6 months. I mean, it's going to be, before you know, it's going to be a year since this happened, and people are still going to be yelling at you, put your mask on.
And
it's just like that. You don't understand. Like, that shit ain't doing nothing. That's not doing it. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. At this point, if you get it, you're going to get it. Everybody's been socially distanced, and even now, like, they're sick of the point where
that's the other thing, man. Is I think that it's inevitable that you're going to get it. So let's stop this fucking, like, charade of trying to avoid getting it. You're going to get it. I personally think it's inevitable. If it really is a virus that's as contagious as you say it is, like every other fucking flu on the planet that we've ever had, then you're gonna get it. You can try to keep from it. It's like the regular flu. Every year you keep going like, I think I'm getting it. You know the feeling you get before you have the flu? You're like, I think tomorrow I'm going to wake up sick. It's like, and it's like you keep trying to dodge that feeling. You keep taking vitamin C around the, winter. And you know what I mean? You try to wash your hands and not touch your eyes and drink a lot of fluids. Like whatever it is that you do to avoid the flu, like eventually you're prolonging it, but you get it. You get it.
Well, anyway,
every year you get it.
The flu, I guess the flu cases dropped something like 90% this year.
Because it is the flu.
Yes, that's what it
Dude,
is.
I know probably more than 10 people that have been diagnosed with coronavirus, and more than half of them say zero symptoms, and the rest of them say that they've had strep throat before, and that was way worse.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it lasts 2 or 3 days. It's just a nasty flu. Which I can see how that would be.
It gets to this thing where they can't really say what it is. I mean, it is a flu. And the clock just popped up and threw me off. And when they're testing for it, their tests aren't accurate. And so a common cold can give you a positive test. But not only that, I have other friends who are, I guess, in Vegas. They still allow you to go into work if you test positive for COVID. But the thing is, you have to test every day. So if you test today and you test positive for COVID, that's a positive test. The next day you go back and you test again, that counts as 2 separate cases.
If they're letting you to go work anyway, why do you have to take the test every day?
But not only that, you don't understand, because they got tested twice, that counts as
I understand what
two
you're saying.
separate cases.
So maybe
It's like,
that's the reason. Like, that's the reason. They want the numbers to be high. Why
and not
ask
only
them
that,
to take the test at all if you're not going to send them home from work?
If you increase the amount of people that you're testing, of course the cases are going to go up because you're testing more people. Like,
Yeah.
that's
And I don't want to sound like a broken record because we talk about it a lot. I'm sure every podcast talks about it. And to be honest with you, a lot of people listening everywhere are not even in the same state that we are, and they're actually probably a little bit more closer back to normal than we are. Guys, we're in California. We're the last to do anything. And believe me, every day I fight with the county. We go back and forth arguing over emails, and they give me a reason why we can't have outdoor live stand-up comedy, and I come back with them with the reason that makes no sense, and you're letting this venue do it, or you're letting movie theaters do it, or you're letting, you know what I mean? Like, I just go back and forth with them.
I actually don't know, because both my brother and my mom have talked to me separately, because my brother's trip out here got canceled. I mean, because they're in Massachusetts, and they're doing pretty bad. I guess they're doing. I mean, when I was there, it felt normal.
But it's this.
People were eating indoors. But they said that they both said, "Oh man, California dropped down." It's like I wish I knew that. I would have transferred my flight to closer. And then my mom's like, "Yeah, California, they're going down. It's not as bad. They're not red flagged anymore as a travel state for Massachusetts." And so I'm just like, wow. I'm like, that's. I haven't even heard anything about
See what I'm
that.
saying, dude? None of it makes sense. So because California's going down, then we are now a safe place for Massachusetts to travel to. But Massachusetts has not gone down. So you're just sending people with the virus here, though. So it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't add up.
It wasn't so much to travel to California. It was those red flag states. If you're coming in from one of those states, they're going to mandatorily make you quarantine. And California is not on those lists anymore, I guess. That's what it is. It's not about going to California. It's about coming back. If there's a state that's a high-risk state, if you're coming from
So you're saying that California, we can now go to Massachusetts because we're a lower-risk state.
You always could, but they're going to have you sign papers and stuff to say that you have to self-quarantine or provide a negative
Okay, but
COVID
that's not what I'm
test.
saying. Like, you just said that you can go from California to Massachusetts now.
I said red flagged.
So are we not red flagged anymore?
One of those if you're coming from one of those states, you're allowed into the state, but you have to mandatory quarantine or provide a negative COVID test within the last couple of days.
Okay, it still doesn't add up. It still doesn't make sense. Anywhere you come from, if you're coming from a red flag state, you're coming from a place that's a risk.
Yes.
And you're going to a place that's not a risk.
No. Massachusetts is one of the biggest risks. Yes.
Okay, so
they're trying to slow that down by red flagging states and like, oh, if you're traveling from this state, you have to quarantine. We don't want to get worse over here. That's what it means. That's what they're trying to do.
But which state? Traveling from which state?
I don't know which ones exactly. I know California, I guess, was on.
Well, right now we're talking about Massachusetts and California, for example. Okay, which one's the red flag state?
Well,
right now,
they both are. They both are, because Massachusetts is really bad, and California was going on the rise, so they were red flagged.
Right.
If you were coming in from California, you were allowed to come into the state, but you have to quarantine.
Okay.
A negative
but
COVID
you
test.
said that California is going down in risk.
Yes.
So
well, that's what my mom and brother told me.
Right. So based off of that, so you can now go to California because it's going down, or you can now come from California because it's going down.
Without those restrictions.
Without the restrictions.
Without those restrictions of you have to sign something that says that you'll quarantine or provide a COVID test.
So now that we're going down, we're not going to have to do that.
You're not going to have to do that. But even if we were still on the rise, you could still travel to there, but you would have to provide those things like a negative COVID test.
Yeah, but then you're going to come back to California, and you're coming back from a Massachusetts state, which is a high-risk state, and you're going to bring it back to California. Like, dude, the point is that none of this matters. The point is that it's all
It's having a peeing section in the pool, bro. It's having a peeing section.
Yeah,
in the pool.
it just it doesn't, dude. It's fucking ridiculous, man. And we're out here in like the worst city. I tried telling the LA County people that we are Los Angeles. We are the entertainment capital of the country, and especially for live entertainment. And they just refuse to try to work with it at all. You know. So really quick, just because we only have a couple minutes left, and briefly, we touched on it, so let's briefly touch on it again because I know that you work with kids and study their behavior and stuff. Something that bothers me so much, which we just talked about a minute ago, which is like when I see the fear that I think that kids are going to grow up with. I see that, when I see kids wearing a mask or, you're outside in the sunshine, open space where we're not forced to be like sardines next to each other. We're just out. I was out on a hike and there's kids with masks and it's all open field around us. And then parents like, put your mask on, put your mask on. It's just like you're instilling like this fear that has to have repercussions as you get older.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about the fear because the kids aren't afraid. They're not afraid of it. What I'm talking about is losing, building social skills, and kids are supposed to play together and learn that. And not only that, the reason why they play together and play outside is because that builds their immune system. They're supposed to get each other sick.
Yeah,
like that's the whole point of being a kid. Like kids are dirty. That's what happens, and that's a very important part about building up their immune system. If you keep them inside, out of the sun, it's going to be bad. And not only that, I mean, they can't go to their favorite places, especially kids who are on the spectrum. They don't understand. They don't understand why. So many tantrums I deal with every day because kids don't understand. Why can't I go to school to see my friends? Why can't I go to my favorite playground? Why can't I do this? And it drives them crazy. And it's not so much, and it's not the fear. It's not the fear of the virus. It's them being denied access to things that help them grow and build social skills.
Yeah, I mean, but don't you think like the mask or like not developing the social skills like on a mental level is going to fuck with them as they get older? Like any kid, not anybody, not on the spectrum, but any kid.
Yes, but it's not going to be about fear. I don't think they're going to grow up afraid of viruses.
No, not afraid.
It's going to affect them socially. It can affect them socially and mentally growing up.
Definitely.
And I can't tell you exactly how it's going to happen because we've never gone through something like this before. I don't know. We won't know until maybe 10 or 15 years from now when these kids are grown up and you'll see data on different behavior patterns about these kids who went through this stuff now. So you don't know. We're not going to know until it happens. But there's definitely going to be an effect from it.
Yeah, man. I was homeschooled, and my parents were, as I said, all like really religious, and I became a stand-up comic, so obviously it had some kind of weird, effects on me, and I think that has a lot to do with it. And I can only imagine what the kids of this generation, who are all being homeschooled, who are all not allowed to walk out of the house without their parents treating them like they should be in a bubble, who are telling them, you're not going trick-or-treating this year. It's absolutely insane, and these are the same people who are telling you masks work. If masks work, then why can't he go trick-or-treating? And I'm not even talking about a costume. You got your regular stupid little COVID mask you guys wear around all day that you think does anything. Have him wear that and have him wear his costume. Nothing's gonna happen, and that's what I'm talking about with no creativity. I had a great idea. You get like 2 broomsticks. You call them witches broomsticks, and if you got 2 pots, like a plant with dirt in it, you put one on each side of your front door. You stick the broomstick in the dirt, and then at the top of the broomsticks, you put some saran wrap. Now you got this you got this plastic clear shield in front of your door, and you can keep going all the way down the sticks so that you got this plastic thing in front, and you want to poke a little hole, you drop some candy out there. This is called getting creative.
Decorating and doing stuff, but if that was my solution, I'm just going to do nothing for Halloween.
No, man, yeah, but you don't have kids.
I hear you. I get what you're saying.
And you don't really give candy away anyway. You like horror stuff and you're doing your own thing as an adult. That's cool. But there's people that normally they would give away candy or they would trick or treat. Did we lose each other? Anyway, I lost Kevin because I'm using that stupid China-made Zoom and we are limited on time. But anyway, you guys got the point. I am just trying to, we were going to wrap up anyway, but I'm just trying to, I rant about this stuff because it's true. There is solutions. There's things you can do. Some Starbucks that you go to, they make you put your debit card inside the little plastic bowl, and then they take the plastic bowl and then they give it back to you in that same card, and then they take that one and they sanitize the bowl, and then they keep sanitizing for the next person. Like you can do the same thing with transit transporting candy. You can put, candy in bags and put gloves on and wear a mask. We're talking about the same people in my neighborhood that when I walk around outdoors, far away from everybody, from across the street, people are giving me dirty looks because I'm not wearing a mask, and they swear the masks work. But then you can't have your kid go trick-or-treating, and I said this to them in my next door neighbor app, and they're going like, are you kidding me? This is not a joke. These are our children's lives. It's like, you really think that your kids are going to gonna die from wearing a mask and a costume and getting some candy from people? Man, some people, you gotta shove it up your ass. Anyway, guys, the point of this episode is that there's depression already with adults. I know it's really hard on parents right now, and there's no reason why you should deprive yourself of doing something. It doesn't have to be 100% the normal, but do something. Be creative. Don't take away a little piece of their childhood. Don't have your kid grow up with a weak immune system and antisocial, all right? Next thing you know, they're stand-up comics, okay? Begging for stage time, if that career even exists in the future. But guys, you got to do something. You got to get creative. And I just want to let you know it's important to still have a good time. It's important to still and keep these traditions going in some way. And I hope that you guys have a happy Halloween. You get creative. You stay safe. You take care of one another. And you help out. A part of me kind of wanted to volunteer in my next door neighbor app, going like, hey guys, here's my idea. We can set up these plastic things in front of your front door. I'll help you come by. If anybody wants to do it, I'll help you come by and set up. I thought about doing that, but then I was just like, you know what? If something goes wrong, I'm going to feel guilty. And I'm not talking about COVID or someone getting sick. I'm talking about, we're this close to the election and there's tons of violence and fires and fucking Antifa people walking around trying to threaten you not to go vote, and they light fires. So if something happens on Halloween while the kids are all out trick-or-treating, I'll be like, we shouldn't have gone trick-or-treating. But not for that reason. For the, you know what I'm saying? I just want everybody to be happy. I know mental health is extremely difficult right now, and I hope that you guys have a good time. You make the best of it, and you don't negotiate with the terrorist. All right? Your happiness comes first. I'd rather, die of fucking some stupid virus than not live my life. I'd rather go out there and live my life and risk the fucking 99% chance that I have of dying of COVID. It's usually the 1%, the 0.1%, 99% of not getting it. So, thank you for listening to my rants and tolerating me. I would like to give a big thank you to Kevin Lyons for being here for the podcast. I'm sorry that it cut out. Those of you listening on YouTube right now, I'm sorry the video cut out, but we did our best here, you guys. We do our best. And just want to remind you guys. Oh, also, let's thank Adam Hunter for calling in for about 3.5 seconds, who was originally supposed to be our guest today. And we're going to talk about comedy. But hey, now we got to talk about some very important mental health facts, and which I know people need to hear in Halloween, right here for the Halloween episode. Guys, be safe. Thank you very much. Don't forget to click the link in the description for Puffy Mattress and Masterclass. And don't forget to please download my comedy album. It's called The Bad Guy. You can find the link on my website, homeschooledpod.com. Click on merch. The links for my comedy album are there, as well as you can shop all the t-shirts to support the podcast. If you do or don't download my comedy album, at least go find it and leave it a 5-star review. That's super helpful to me. And don't forget, I'll be in Philly November 12th through the 14th. For tickets, you can go to homeschooledpod.com, click on tour. I look forward to seeing you guys there, and thank you so much for listening. Oh shit, I almost forgot. I got some shout outs. Hold on, everybody. I got some motherfucking shout outs here. I want to give a shout out to Steve Zoe. I want to give a shout out to social distancing well before. I don't know what that is, but the handle is Main Munchie. I want to give a shout out to Hey Danny Frank. I want to give a shout out to let's see if I can do this, DYE Greatlator. I'm sorry guys, some of these don't really make sense to me, these handles. Andy Sandlin, Rob aka Senor Bueno. And I want to give a shout out to Jen And let's see, I got a couple more. Hopefully I don't screw these up. James Out West. Nithing Spurs. Clay, who his handle is F Facebook. I like that. And Red Many Hats. Rickety Rickets. Maddie D. And Conquers Fadbird Day. Listen, guys, some of these handles I do my best. But anyway, I know you guys showed some love in the past on social media or whatever, so I just want to say thank you, and thanks for checking out the podcast. Hopefully you subscribe and keep coming back for more. It's not all fucking COVID rants, I promise. We have great guests, and we are inspirational. We try to be motivational. I just know it's tough times right now. I'm going through it too, and we'll get through this, you guys. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Be safe. This is Homeschooled Podcast. Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to do that at all.